Let me try that again. Hello, one and all. Welcome to this episode of the Hot Takes Corner podcast. I am Amos, and I'm always joined by my partner on the base paths, if you will, Amish. And we wanted to start off like we know it's been a couple days, but we wanted to get our condolences in for Tyler Skaggs, who was found dead in his motel room earlier this week.
Yeah, he was found unresponsive in South Lake, Texas, pronounced dead about 2:18 by authorities upon their arrival at the scene. Of course, the Angels in the area to play a 4-game series against the Rangers. He was scheduled to pitch in the series finale on the 4th. Of course, they postponed the first game, and then the statement issued by the South Lake Police Department read that neither suicide nor foul play was suspected, and the next day the Tarrant County Medical Examiner began their autopsy, and they estimate it'll determine the cause of death by October 2nd, so it'll be a little while for the investigation.
And it's really sad because I don't know if I don't think Tyler Skaggs was considered a superstar, if you will. Like when you think of the Angels, you don't think of Skaggs that much, but
Right.
that definitely did not stop his teammates and everyone around the baseball world.
Yeah, it's
talking
kind
about
of
how
like
important it is.
who was it? Trout? I can't remember who quoted the quotes, but I'm around these guys more than I am my own family. This is my family most of the time, So you grow that bondage, and that makes it really tough.
Yeah, so once again, there's been no release on how he passed on. There are some assumptions out there which are wrongly being published.
Yeah, you should stop doing that. The media should stop going by hearsay, and let's go with the authorities. What the authorities tell us.
So I just wanted to put that in there because there have been reports by different local papers that have said that at first they said they knew what happened.
Yeah, everybody wants to know now. That's human nature, but we have to let the investigation proceed its normal course.
Right, and it's just it's really scum. That's the best way to put it. I don't know why you would release something when you don't know the cause of it. But regardless,
Because you want to be the first. You want to, put your name up there. I am the one that reported this first. Blah. Whatever.
Yeah, it's just gonna
get
get
right
you.
Instead of get it first, okay?
It's just gonna get you a bunch of trash. But but yeah, Tyler Skaggs was about to turn 28. Started his career, I believe, back in 2012 with the Diamondbacks. Had a decent career, but no doubt that his, even though his numbers weren't up to average on the field, it was about who he was off the field. And I think, I can't remember my a local radio station, sports radio station, was talking about that. And they had a guy on that, met with Tyler Skaggs, and he's been in the Angels clubhouse and all that stuff. And he said there will be 1,000 people to tell you that Skaggs was, his best friend, or their best friend. So, I guess when you have that kind of personality, the clubhouse is going to miss you, and baseball will miss you. And good for the Angels to come out and during the silent procession by the Rangers, they had his jersey out there with them. So I think that was a good move.
Andrew Heaney touchingly noted in that introduction that you heard, the Angels players. And then Heaney today also wrote something. Heaney did have a start today for the Angels, and he wrote something behind the mound. We don't know exactly what it was yet. I've been watching Twitter to see if anybody spotted what he wrote, but I'm sure it was attributed to him. And he shaved his mustache too. So.
Yeah, we saw Patrick Corbin throw on the 45 and get a win in his performance. We saw almost every pitcher putting the number 45. Yeah,
it's crazy.
But no doubt that even though it's almost a week old now, I think this is something that the Angels are going to feel for a while. So let's hope for the best. Let's send, prayers, good vibes, whatever you want to do to his family, the Angels organization, whoever you need to. And life's short, man. The guy's only 27, and it's shocking to hear that player with that much potential, and what he's already done in his life is just gone. So whatever his reason is. So, but we won't know anything else until later. But we thought there was really kind of a no better way to start off the show than to put in a short memorage of him. So
absolutely. He deserves it. Okay.
He does.
So we had another guy that's been battling something, but I guess it's going well for Carlos Carrasco, huh?
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so Carlos Carrasco has revealed recently that he has been diagnosed with leukemia, something very serious. But the good news is that he seems like, from what he's been saying on Twitter and what the Indians have been saying on Twitter and different social platforms, that it's something that he's actually got under control. Now, I know that's something that you can't really have control over, but he's doing all of his treatments and everything seems to be progressing in the right direction from what they've been putting up. So, of course, we wish the Cookie Monster or whatever his name is. I like his nickname, but, the best there. So let's just hope it's something that will keep trending in the right direction. So
it'll keep the Indians going too, and give them kind of a rally point of sorts, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to chase down your Twins, which seems impossible at this point in time. But excuse me, if I can ever stop burping. So the next item up for sound like an auctioneer.
The next item up for show, the price is right.
Yeah, the price is semi-wrong. Copyright. Welcome to this episode of You Don't Deserve a Boat. Home Run Derby.
Yeah, I got some more our final two guys, right?
Right. So if I'm not mistaken, it is
one is Jock Peterson.
6 in the National League and 2 in the American League.
You sure it's not 5 and 3?
Oh, I'm sorry, 5 and 3. Math is hard. You're right, 5 and 3.
See, now I thought all along it was supposed to be 4 and 4, but I was evidently wrong.
I did too. I thought it was that way.
But no, it's Peterson and who else got in?
The last 2 that were introduced were Peterson and who was the last one? Santana was already put in. Acuna, I believe. Was he the last one?
Okay.
I don't know. It was the last 2. You get it. It might have been Peterson and I don't think it was Santana.
No, it wasn't Santana.
Well, anyway, they're in. Here's how the matchups are looking
Here's
like
the bracket
right now. And they're all going to be really good. I might actually watch it this year.
Yeah, right? Round by round. Looks great.
So we got Christian Yelich versus Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Wow. Right off the bat. Huge.
I got, so who do you got in that one? Just pre-predicting.
That's right. I mean, the way Yelich has been hitting. But I think, now, he hit last year in Washington, right? Am I wrong about that, or am I right? He hit the home run derby?
I don't think so. I don't think he did. Stanton did, but he didn't.
Stanton. Okay. See, that's going to be tough.
I don't think he did.
I don't really know what Yelich will bring to a home run derby, but you heard a story, I guess, of PNC, huh?
Yeah, I thought this was hilarious. He hit, he was practicing his home run derby skills over there at PNC Park, which, for those who don't know, is the home of the Pirates. And he hit a ball, he hit a ball so far that he cracked or shattered. It was one of the two, either or. The picture's up on Twitter. He cracked or shattered a boat window.
The Allegheny River right there.
And the people that owned the boat called the cops because they didn't know what happened. Right. So, and the good news is no charges were filed.
Yeah,
but as a Cubs fan, I hate to hear that, but no, I'm just kidding. No, but it's Yeah, that was great. I think Vlad Guerrero did the same thing when he was practicing. He cracked a hotel or one of those at the Rogers Center.
The Sky or Rogers Center,
Yeah, he cracked one of the windows there. So, and as far as I know, police were not called there. So,
yeah, right.
I think one person joked about it, and they said that's probably the hardest snowball I've ever seen thrown. I'm like, so, I don't know, man. I don't know who I got for this one. I think
I'll just say Vlad.
I'm gonna go Yelich. I like Yelich's swing a little better. Okay. Ooh, boy, that's a tough one though. All right, and no particular order, by the way. This is the second matchup. You got Alex Bregman repping for the Astros versus Jacques Peterson, which I'm very surprised that he's in it.
I think he's not going to do so well. I just have this feeling he's going to really try it too hard, or maybe it could be wrong. Maybe he's got a good pitcher. It helps when you got a good pitcher for you too.
Right. I just don't know. I mean, I guess you could give a little bit of the advantage to Jock Peterson because Bregman has to hit the ball over that high wall.
Okay.
And left.
He's kind of a low home run hitter, isn't he?
He's so used to that cheapo seats in Houston. But yeah, I just let me do something real quick. I don't know. I know these guys get invites. I get that. But I just don't know why Jock Peterson. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I think you could have probably asked a couple more people before him.
A little bit of head scratcher. Why him? Yeah, exactly.
Like some people were claiming, why not Schwarber? It's like, well, Schwarber wasn't it last year, so.
Oh, okay. So you kind of want new blood type of thing.
Right. So I totally get that. I don't think anybody on the Cubs really deserves to be in it. So, I mean, at least Baez if you have to include one. But other than that, though, let me think. If there was someone that could replace Jock Peterson, I guess we could keep it either National League or American League.
Yeah, I would go Austin Riley. I'd love to see Austin Riley this year.
Boy, that would be a good one. Austin, yeah.
Is he just too fresh? Kind of like the Houston guy you talked about last week, Valdez. Just too fresh out of the minors.
I would like to see, since he's back, I'd like to see Justin Upton.
Okay.
I would like to see him do it again. He's got such a sweet swing. I really like his swing. So, let me think here. Who else would I throw in there? You could do. There's so many worthy people, I guess you could say.
You mentioned Matt Olson last week.
Yeah, Matt Olson. You could go Matt Chapman. Possibly. You could go Avisail Garcia for the Rays. I think he's pretty good. He doesn't have a high home run count.
Good home run pace, or?
Not really. That's a little biased towards me. So, I would like to see. Now I know he doesn't have a lot of home runs this year because of how the Cardinals are playing him. But I would like to see what's his name, Jose Martinez.
Okay.
I think that's his name. Is that his name? Plays first base in the outfield for the Cardinals.
Played first base in the right field. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would like to see him do that because when he swings for the fences. So I just want to see how far he can hit a ball, or at least no more Mazzara.
Yeah, Mazzara I mentioned last week.
Yeah. But anyway, regardless, I think Bregman's got that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bregman too.
So match number 3. You've got Pete Alonso, who has set the rookie record.
Yeah, see, this would have been my 1-8 matchup, and Yelich Guerrero would be 2-7.
Oh yeah, Yelich is ranked number 1. Is Alonso too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I could see that. I really could see that. And he's facing against Cleveland's representative, Carlos Santana.
God bless Carlos Santana. Fine player and whatnot, but man, Pete Alonso, I think he's just going to crush him.
He probably will.
I think so.
He probably will. But it does make me. I don't know. If Santana does beat Pete Alonso, which the only thing I would give him an advantage in is just and this is debatable, is how much batting experience he has compared to Pete Alonso. Like, you know, like, is Alonso's heart rate going to get so quick that he's going to jump on these pitches and not hit them far, you know?
And again, that's where the good pitcher comes into play. I don't know who's pitching for these guys.
Hopefully Noah Syndergaard. But I want to root for Santana. I really do. But I think I'm going to go with Pete Alonso in this one.
Well, it's kind of like you were saying last week. You know, we'd love to see a guy like Pujols, you know, try it one more time.
Oh, absolutely. God, I would love to see Pujols do it.
I loved it when you said that. It's like, yeah, that really would make a lot of sense. Just try to do it. You know, elder statesman.
So last matchup, and this is the one I'm looking forward to. Josh Bell for the Pirates versus Ronald Acuna Jr. for the Braves. Yeah. Oh my God, what a last season and a half both of these two guys have.
To me, Acuna is so much more of a natural versus pitcher home run hitter than he is a guy that would stand and do BP home run, you know?
So do you think, I mean, by the way, I think Josh Bell's going to get this one, but
Me too.
I just, that's probably going to be the best matchup, in my opinion, is Bell versus Acuna.
I think the Guerrero one might be the best one.
It's a close second for me. I just don't, because when you look at, you know, Bregman versus Jock, you know, Bregman versus Peterson, sorry, I keep saying Jock like he's French or something. You kind of just feel Bregman. You know,
exactly.
When you say no, absolutely not. But when you see like Bell and Acuna, you could be like, well, maybe Bell, maybe Acuna. Acuna's hit him pretty far. He's slowed down a little bit this year, but what Josh Bell hasn't, including he hit 3 home runs against the Cubs earlier the week. But that's gonna be such a good matchup. So Acuna hits from the right, and Josh Bell hits from the left, so you can give Bell the advantage, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know if that really matters. Like, I think it does to some people. Like, if you're Stanton or Judge or J.D. Martinez, it doesn't matter how high the wall is. But for these guys, like maybe Acuna and maybe Santana, you know.
Okay.
But so who do you think will win it all?
So to win it all, I'm gonna hedge my bets toward Alonso, but I really can't count out Vlad Jr. I gotta see him in that first round to see how fast a start he's gonna get off to. That's gonna determine for me if he's gonna be able to beat Alonso. I think it's him and Alonso in the final.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna put my virtual money, if you will, on Josh Bell.
Nice.
I like Bell in this one. He's such a big, strong guy. But I don't know who he'll face.
Yeah, I mean, Bell, Alonso, head-to-head, what do you think?
I guess Alonso. I don't know how they have it.
Yeah, because the 2 would play the 3.
I don't know that one. I don't know. I just think Bell's gonna win it.
Well, they might do it. They might do it by amount of home runs first round too, and reseed. I don't know how they work that. I guess.
Yeah, I think they changed that, didn't they?
Did they change it? Okay.
I don't know how it works. It's something I did not look up before we started this episode. But let me see here. While we look that up, now here's something I'm interested in. How are these players going to react after the after the home run derby? Because we saw what happened to Harper last year.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, he was just in the gutter. You know, he was garbage. And you know, after it was rigged for him to win last year, I don't care. I think it was rigged for him to win.
That's the time thing. Yeah, you got to wait to pitch until that ball actually reaches the stands officially.
Right.
You cannot pitch the next pitch until that happens.
And we get that it's not going to be perfect every time, but.
Of course.
His dad was throwing the ball before. I'm pretty sure he threw the ball before the ball that Harper hit previously went over the fence.
I agree with you. At least 2 or 3 times I remember seeing.
And that's not just because Schwarber was his opponent. I would say that for anybody. But regardless, we got to look at what Harper did after the home run derby kind of got him back on track. But I wonder if the reverse would happen here. You know, Yelich is probably one of the hottest hitters in baseball. Mm-hmm. And so is Pete Alonso. And Josh Bell, you could throw in that also. You know, these guys, I mean, granted, they're going to have days of rest, but I wonder if they're going to cool down after this. You know, the home run derby curse or whatever people want to call it. Or vice versa, if somebody's going to get hot from this. You know, if Carlos Santana comes out from this and rocks 20 more home runs.
Right.
I don't know. I think this will be a very good home run derby. I can't wait to watch it. So that is on the 9th, I believe.
Monday night.
Monday night. I'm sorry. Monday night. So that is the 8th. 8th. Oh, I'm so glad the All-Star Game's on Tuesday. I forgot about that. Because that is my Friday. I don't work Wednesday. Woo! So I can watch it. And we could bring great commentary next week.
Exactly.
So, speaking of the All-Star Game, if you're ready to move on to it,
yeah,
we'll move on to it.
Absolutely.
We've got some changes. As you noted, you filled me on some of them that I just flat out missed.
I didn't hear about a lot of them too while I was reading them. So
now I'm guessing a lot of these are because that they are playing. Like for instance, Shane Bieber for the Indians is replacing Mike Minor for the Rangers, and I'm assuming that's because Minor's pitching tomorrow.
Right, and I'm gonna look up officially when these guys are on while you're reading stuff here.
Some more changes here. Liam Hendricks of the A's is replacing Charlie Morton of the Rays. So, Max Muncy for the Dodgers is replacing Anthony Rendon for the Nationals, which...
That one is because Rendon isn't going to play. His own decision.
Right. I've heard that, and I've also heard that he is still got a little bit of lingering pain in his leg.
Okay, yeah.
But I think it is on, like, if you look at his interviews when they've asked him about it, he just doesn't look interested.
Yeah.
He doesn't look interested. And that's kind of a bad thing, but we'll talk about that in a second. Felipe Vasquez, for the closer for the Pirates, is going to be replacing Zach Greinke. Brandon Woodruff, pitcher for the Brewers, is going to replace fellow Brewer Josh Hader, who is day-to-day, I believe, with an injury. Masahiro Tanaka, the Yankees, are replacing Marcus Stroman for the Jays. Your boy Jose Barrios, I hear it. Barrios, thank you. He's replacing Jake Odorizzi. So not really a downgrade there. Probably an upgrade. I don't know. You could tell me more than I could assume. And last but not least, Xander Bogaerts replacing Hunter Pence. So with those names, does it seem like a downgrade to you?
Well, you gotta say, because
in some cases.
The other guys, were kind of expected to do the appearance. You're filling in, basically. But I would say Vasquez is kind of even keel, though, as a replacement, though. Not necessarily for Greinke, but for Hader.
Yeah. Yeah, I like. I hope he shines, man. Vasquez is a great closer, and even though there have been teams that have been asking about him by the trade deadline, I don't think the Pirates are going to get rid of him. So, as they should.
By the way, Morton is slated to start on Sunday. I didn't see the other two guys though, so I'm not sure what that's about.
I think Stroman's got an injury, doesn't he?
I think it's Stroman. Yeah, maybe he has an injury. I'll look at the report there too.
Let's see here. And then, what's the deal with Odorizzi? Is he hurt?
Yeah, he's got a blister on his middle finger, his throwing hand, that he developed in the Oakland. Only the second complete Twins game I watched this year was on Wednesday, and I watched that game and saw him get the blister, so I took him out.
Eesh.
He's on the IL.
That bum. Just kidding.
Yeah, left pectoral cramp is Marcus Stroman's diagnosis.
What was the other one? We missed another one. Gleyber Torres got added, right? Was it Torres?
Gleyber Torres replaced the guy who replaced somebody else, which was Brandon Lowe of the Rays.
Right.
I can't remember who he replaced.
So Yankees fans can shut up now, right?
Yeah, so you got Tanaka now, and you got who did we just say?
Torres. Pretty sure Chapman's in. I think we said Chapman's in. You got enough representatives, so hush. That's all I gotta say. Let's see here. Okay, so Where is it? 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 I'm looking
San
for.
Jose? Do you know the way to San Jose? Is that what you said? Because there's a lot of earthquakes out that way, I heard. So.
Shout out to earthquakes. That's some scary stuff.
Your friends in California all day have just been.
Yeah, I know. They. Glad they're okay. That's some scary stuff. But I did see the the Padres and Dodgers playing through last night.
Yeah, that was an interesting film, wasn't it?
It was great, man. That pitcher for the.
Step up, batter's box, okay.
Man, the pitcher for the Padres at the time, he just didn't care. He's like, "Come on, let's keep going. It's just a little earthquake."
Put it in there. You can swing at it and miss because of the quake throwing you off, or you can stand there and look at it and see what the umpire says as he tries to run for the exit.
I wonder if the breaking ball would be deadlier in an earthquake. Can you imagine if that was the bottom of the ninth, the Dodgers had the winning run on third, and whoever was pitching for the Padres, chances are to be Kirby Yates, and like he throws a breaking ball and the earthquake happens, and it causes the catcher to miss the ball, and it's like a walk-off earthquake pass ball or something. Just, man, that's some odd stuff. 2 earthquakes in what, 2 days? 3 days?
Yeah, and they're going to keep on coming from what I'm understanding. So, our thoughts with you people on the West Coast, for sure.
Yeah, they've been calling for that for about 10 years now. So, you better hope the geyser over there at Yellowstone doesn't go. Or the volcano, not geyser. Yeah, you don't want all that water on you. Jesus Christ. Well, if my computer will scan back here, I want to quickly. We didn't put this in our notes, but this is fascinating the Jesus out of me. I want to talk about the Mets for a second.
Oh God.
Because you know this is gonna be. You know that when we say that we're gonna talk about the Mets, it's gonna be nothing but good news. Nothing but pure sarcasm. I'm just kidding. I want to talk about the trash that their bullpen is. Did you know that the Mets bullpen, just their bullpen, not their starters. Their starters have been pretty good. Their bullpen is nearing a 7 ERA.
Oh my gosh, 7 ERA?
7 ERA. Oh. No thanks to Edwin Diaz.
Yeah,
which
right.
I don't know about you, but I hate to see him doing as bad as he's doing.
I know what the heck has happened with that guy? I have no idea.
He went to the Mets. That's what happened.
I guess that's it.
So last year he went 0-4, which, you know, that's understandable. I don't really look at win and losses too much when it comes to closers, yeah.
Exactly.
But that ERA was really good. It was a 1.96 with the Mariners.
Constantly seeing him, close down games. I remember that crucial stretch against the Astros on the road in Houston. They swept him, So Diaz is just closing him down. I'm like, yeah, this guy's for real.
Yeah. Converted 57 of his 61 saves.
Ooh.
That is crazy. That's crazy talk. He's the second best closer I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Lonnie Mitchell trees the best. Anyway, only a few people are gonna know who that is. Let's see here. He had hitters were hitting 160 off of him, and his WHIP was a .79.
Yikes.
That's very good. Not to mention that when you think about going from the American League to the National League, you're going to a weaker league, as people say. Mm-hmm. So let me read you his weaker stats so far with the Mets, shall we?
Okay.
Let's see. In 36 games, he is 1-6 with a 5.67 ERA. He has converted 18 of 22 saves.
Okay, which isn't too bad.
That's not terrible. He's pitched a little over 33 innings, and he's given up 38 hits, 21 runs, 7 home runs. That's a big one.
For closer, yeah.
He's issued 11 walks, and hitters are hitting 284 off of him. So what is happening? I really don't explain. I don't know. I'm not asking because I don't have an answer. I really would like to know what's happening with this guy.
Is the stuff you're looking at, does it have a home road split? I'd be interested to see if most of this is, if it's even on the home versus road, or how that's working out for him.
I will see
Maybe
if I can find it.
maybe it's City Field. Maybe it's because he doesn't do well on the road. I don't know.
Well, there was temporary talk that they were wanting to take Diaz out. But Callaway said they're going to keep him in there, and that's probably the best move because who are you going to put there?
What, they got Familia now as the setup guy, or?
Well, the rest of the bullpen's just as crap. So if you're going to take
okay.
out Diaz, who would you put there? You know.
Right.
But I remember, or there was, I didn't remember. I watched this earlier. There was an interview with Edwin Diaz in the clubhouse. I forgot who conducted the interview. But they asked him why he's struggling, why his numbers are just so. They didn't say garbage, but you know what I'm saying. Why they're so bad.
Said, why? Why is this happening?
And through his interpreter, he just said, I have no idea. I don't have an answer. So, to me, that kind of seems lack of confidence. Because surely there's something there.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, the pitching coach has got to take advantage of that and start to work with them and finding out the problem. That's for sure.
But the thing that, one of the things that gets me about this is that the Mets are near the bottom. I mean, they're still 5 games. I believe it's 5 games ahead of the Marlins, which is still too close. But they still don't know if they're going to blow it up. You know, and I mean, do you agree with that? Do you think they should blow it up?
Oh, I don't know. You know, and I've heard stirrings. Van Wiegenen doesn't have the slightest clue as to what he's doing. He's making these, you know, ridiculous calls that he should be leaving to his field manager, and it's just, it's a disaster.
Let's see.
What do you do? That is the question of this week, maybe the next 2 weeks. What do you do if you're the New York Mets?
I wouldn't blow it up, for sure. You've got so many proper, you know, you've got good talent. Just for some reason it's not working out. Pete Alonso's fantastic. Jeff McNeil's fantastic. What's that guy's name? Rosario, even though he's struggling.
Yeah. Maybe you look at your guys that are going to be big money guys or expected to be big money guys next year and don't have any contract past this year, and you start to figure out who to trade them for. Right. Maybe that's what you do.
I think they do get rid of a few pieces. Keep Diaz because you don't have anyone better to replace him. Mm-hmm. You know what Diaz is capable of. If you want to go out there and find somebody at the deadline that's capable of that, be my guest. But I don't think you're going to. Sure. Because chances are that closer with those numbers is on a winning team, and they're not going to let him go. Get rid of Familia. Get rid of, well, he's on the IL, so you can't really necessarily get rid of him. But I was going to say Wilson. I think his name's Justin Wilson, right?
Todd Frazier is going to be a free agent next year. Zach Wheeler is going to be a free agent next year.
He's going to be dealt. I think Wheeler's going to be traded.
A lot of guys in arbitration. Other than that, no real big names shouting at me off of this transaction or payroll page that I'm looking at. Oh, Matt Kemp, but why did they even pick him up?
He's not even playing.
He's not even helping him. He's still stuck in the minors, right? Yeah. So
I don't want them to blow it up because this crazy notion that they're going to trade DeGrom's not going to happen.
Oh, and then of course, Syndergaard will have to go to arbitration on a $6 million deal. Are you going to get your value out of him? Are you going to pay him, or are you going to try to get value out of him? That's another good question.
Speaking of Syndergaard, while we're talking about him, I feel as though Syndergaard is still good, but he's not what he was.
Right.
Do you agree or disagree?
I think I would go with that statement. Yeah.
Pure opinion piece there, but he's been hurt so much, and I think his velocity is still there.
Mm-hmm.
It's either his velocity or his movement. One of those is just not what it used to be, is what they're saying. Still very young, 26, but you look at what he's doing this year. It's not the Syndergaard that we are familiar with. In fact, if you look at his career stats, he's actually progressively getting worse.
Okay.
So what do? Do you trade him? Because you're not just going to let him go.
Try to sell as high as you possibly can.
Right. Do you trade him, or do you take a risk and keep him paired up there with DeGrom?
Okay.
Because I don't know the Mets system. I don't know if they have any pitchers or not.
I haven't heard of a lot of top pieces, for young 20s type guys that are coming up for them. So that's the other thing.
Yeah, everything about Syndergaard is progressively worse. For example, last year he gave up 52 earned runs in the whole year. He gave up 52 runs. He's got 51 right now.
Yeah.
Home runs allowed. He only gave up 9 home runs last year. He's already given up 12.
Right.
His ERA has been slowly on the uptick. 2.6 in 2016, 2.9 in 2017, 3.03, very small, in 2018, and as of right now, he's at a 4.56. Now, I guess you could chalk some of that up to his injury issues, but you can't blame all of that on injuries.
No.
I don't think, anyway. Let's look at his hits here. Okay, that's not right. I was like, he only gave up 29 hits a couple years ago, and then I saw why. He gave up 148 hits last year, which was good compared to how he did in 2016 when he gave up 168 hits. He's at 98 right now.
It's almost 100 already, and it's All-Star break. Yeah. Pace.
Don't let go of DeGrom. You've just gave him an extension.
Yeah, you obviously can't. DeGrom is your centerpiece.
I would definitely deal Syndergaard, though. I don't know. You're not going to win. You could possibly win next year, but
I think you got to make sure that you're going to get a number 2. If you're not going to slide Zach Wheeler into the number 2 and re-sign him, you got to find a number 2 guy, I think.
Right. I think you deal Syndergaard to maybe a borderline team. Like a team that... I mean, chances are the Yankees are going to offer something. That's usually the team that offers something. And in their defense, they usually offer the best stuff. But if I were them to get the most out of it, I think a borderline team would be more desperate for a starter like Syndergaard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
Which means you could get more. You could. I'm not saying you will, but you could get more.
Well, yeah, and as you said, because of his regression at this point, you just kind of got to do the best you can.
Yeah.
But now you've got, 25 days left?
Correctamundo.
So, I don't know.
I love deadlines. I love the trade. Now that there's only one trade deadline.
Right. It's nice.
But yeah, I mean, the starting rotation, that I'm actually looking at it, is actually a mess. I mean, Jacob DeGrom, he's still really good, but I think he's actually slid a little bit this year.
Yeah, he's had a couple bad starts. I mean, I remember, of course, the early Twins matchup where they got to him. Had a couple other bad starts since then, I believe, but other than that, pretty solid.
So let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to DeGrom, he's 4-7 right now.
Yeah.
Would you blame a majority of that on his pitching or the lack of offense?
I think the lack of offense. You got to go there. Until Alonso really started to light fire too, they were kind of a pretty torrid pace from what I remember to start the year. Their offense.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. And unlike Syndergaard, DeGrom is actually trending in a pretty good direction. It looks like. He's given up less hits than Syndergaard has. He's way below his average, which is good. He may pass his run total. He gave up 48 runs last year. He's at 41 right now as we speak. Now, the one that gets me is his home run total.
Okay.
He's given up 14 home runs this year, which is already past what he did last year.
Yeah, right.
Can't blame that on the offense. That's him. His strikeouts look really solid. I don't think he's going to reach what he did last year. Well, he might. I don't know. He's at 138. and he had 269 last year.
Okay, yeah, he can still do it. It might be a little behind, but not too behind.
And his average, the hitter's average hitting off of him is up slightly along with his whip. And I mean very slightly on the whip. Like it went from a .91 to a 1.09.
Okay.
But with that in mind, and I'm not even going to go over Wheeler or Vargas. Vargas has been the biggest disappointment ever. Well, maybe not ever, but you get what I'm saying.
Being is everything.
Because he had such a good year. Let's see, what year was that he... Let me find it real quick.
Around 14 years. So
Oh, I'll be able to find it. There was a year that he had...
Was it for the Royals or something?
It might have been with the Royals. He went 18 and 11.
18 wins. 2017. Yeah.
Yep, there it is. Yeah. And, given that division, a 4 ERA is not terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
But regardless, and then he comes to he comes to the Mets, and it's just instantly terrible. So, and I don't spew all those stats and those players for no reason. You look at Syndergaard, stat-wise, he's getting worse. Injury-wise, he's been getting hurt a lot more. DeGrom is still solid, but you've got him locked up, so it wouldn't be smart to trade him.
Exactly. And why would they? Exactly.
Right. Zach Wheeler's already being talked about in trade talks. I have a feeling he's going to go.
You got to talk about him for sure.
And I think Vargas is in the last year of his deal. I think. If not, he's close.
He's got $2 million option for free agency, though. He could get bought out next year for $2 million.
Ooh. I just don't know. Where is this team at? I guess is what I want to know.
Is it a major crossroads at this point? And Mickey Callaway just is not pleasing me as an observer, as a manager. He just is not.
So here's one final question for you about the Mets. And we'll move on to something more interesting. Do you blow the team up? And I mean, like how we just discussed. Maybe not all the way. I know there's some players you're not going to get rid of. But do you blow the team up? Or do you fire Mickey Callaway and risk having another year?
Yeah.
Because, like you said, you got to offer Syndergaard something. You've got to keep with that pitching staff.
I think Callaway and Van Wegenen have got to be a package deal at some point. So I don't necessarily know if you can fire Callaway now and then hope that Van Wegenen can work with a better manager necessarily. I think you got to wait it out. I think they were wise not to dismiss him yet, just because they need to get through this season. They need to get through this season. I think they should start fresh this next offseason, reevaluate, and move on. And as you said, trade the pieces like maybe Wheeler and or Syndergaard. See what you can get, value for them. If it's not going to work, you just got to let it go and hope that you can blow it up in the offseason.
Right. Just trying to find anything on... It's just amazing. I don't know. You kind of have to laugh at the Mets, but at the same time, you got to give them credit. They took a big risk. They know what the division was going to be this year. You knew the Braves were going to be better. You absolutely knew the Phillies were going to be better.
Yeah, and that trade, the Cano-Diaz trade, in the off with the Mariners was probably one of the biggest trades of the offseason to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because you saw the potential, they didn't have a good closer. Mm-hmm. And, I don't think they had a very good second baseman. They had a hole there. So, yeah, you're going to be paying a lot of money, but that's part of the risk. I think the Mets had to make a trade like that in order to try to keep up with what the Braves have been doing. They signed Donaldson. They've had these great young pitchers come up. Max Fried, what's his name? He just pitched the other day. Soroka. Yes, Soroka is great. They did let go of Fultonevich, which surprised me. But that's the thing about young pitchers. You just don't know how they're going to pan out. Luke Jackson is their active closer right now. He's been doing pretty good. Greg Dayton brought up from Gwinnett. He's been doing okay. My point is, before the Phillies decided to play the Yankees in the injury list, I think it was easy to say that it was going to be Braves, Phillies, Nationals, Mets, and then Marlins. So as the Mets, you saw that and you're like, we got to get better now.
Yep.
So
They had to throw their hat in the ring and say, come on.
So I give them credit for throwing the hat in the ring and making this trade, but it just hasn't paid off.
Yep.
It just
hasn't worked out. Whether it's the Mets curse or what it is, it just, man.
But you know what the beauty of baseball is? We're only halfway through the season. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Cubs losing on 163. Don't need to have that happen again. But, I mean, I guess you could count the Mets out. But, I mean, it's just the baseball competitor in me just like, don't count them out yet. You never know. You never know. So, is there a certain team you want to talk about? Off the top of your head.
Well, I kind of wanted to go around and see health-wise how teams are looking as we
injury
enter the
list.
All-Star break.
Who has boo-boos? I'm
And
good.
if you want, I would like to, start with the Angels. You go to the, Astros, and then we'll just go back and forth here. Because we had quite a few things happen between the 30th of June, which was the Sunday after our last broadcast, and today. So I want to start off by looking at the Angels and seeing what's happening with guys like Zach Kozar, who has been undergoing testing on that left shoulder inflammation, and they're hoping that he's back, still at some point this year. Brian Goodwin placed on the 10-day IL with a right wrist contusion. Lacks them another outfielder there. Matt Harvey, upper back strain, is hoping to get back after All-Star break here. And he's got a rehab transfer to AAA scheduled for tomorrow. So hopefully, through the break, he'll look better too. Tommy La Stella was all bound for the All-Star game. Now he's got a right tibia fracture, and he's looking at September.
I hate that so much.
Oh, God.
I really hate that.
You were having such fun watching him. And
I was.
we were looking forward to cheering for him in the All-Star game. But no, 8 to 10 weeks typical recovery time, so they're hoping.
Gotta find somebody else in fantasy.
Keenan Middleton, of course, the pitcher that they're hoping to get back in the pen, a rookie-level rehab assignment as he recovers from that Tommy John from last year. J.C. Ramirez, a second 30-day rehab assignment is coming up for him, so he's still looking after the All-Star break possibilities. And finally, Justin Upton just got back, but he did exit the game early Wednesday and wasn't in the starting lineup the last 3 days with left quad tightness. So we're still hoping that this All-Star break will allow him the rest that he needs to get back into a groove that he kind of started back into when he came back.
Yikes. The only one I got.
Angels update.
The only one I got for the Astros that's really worth mentioning is Carlos Correa, which he's due back shortly after the All-Star break, which is definitely some good news. Once again, not like they need him, but the only thing they got here is that he's been doing working on his fielders, and he's been taking batting practice, and I think he's playing in Double-A. I'm trying to remember. It's not on Major League Baseball's website, but
yeah, I don't have it either. But
I can't remember if they said it was Single-A or Double-A, but he's going to be back soon.
yeah.
So that's good for them.
Okay. Well, Oakland A's, I wanted to give an update on Gerald Cotton.
Oh, boy.
Because he had thrown live batting practice this week, and they would like to have him back sometime in August. And I would like to see him get going for the A's again, because that starting rotation could really use him as they try to make this run to the postseason. Other than that, of course, we saw Chris Herman return with a grand slam against my Twins this week, so good for him. But Nick Hundley has been recovering from left knee surgery last month. He could still be back at some point by the end of this month, and it was expected to be sent to the minor league complex to start ramping up that rehab this week. So, other than that, Sean Mania still doing those bullpens, trying to get back from September left shoulder surgery.
I'll slap my camera over. So what about the Blue Jays? Let's see what we got going on here. I've got to talk about the GOAT. That's obvious. Let me find myself. Yeah, Edwin Jackson, best pitcher ever. Don't at me. He's so good, he has to be on like 13 different teams. 10-day injury list. He could be back later in July with just a lower back strain. Nothing big. But the Blue Jays are now inferior without Edwin Jackson. I love Edwin Jackson so much because of bad he is. Marcus Stroman day-to-day with a left pectoral cramp, which we mentioned earlier. I mean, we didn't say specifically.
No All-Star game,
yeah, why he was out of the All-Star game. But that's all they got, really. They think it's day-to-day, so I'm sure he'll be back after the All-Star break.
Hot Atlanta Braves enter Enciarte. His lumbar strain. He's expected to have some rehab and be in AAA. So after the All-Star break at some point, they're hoping to get him back in center field for them. Dansby Swanson's been battling some left quad discomfort. Just thought that was worth mentioning because he kind of looked like a guy that could have made it the All-Star team too.
Oh, Count was mad that he didn't make it.
It's like, Count, he's got left quad discomfort. Leave him alone.
Dansby Swanson. Georgia-born guy. Oh, boy. I get to talk about the Brewers. Woohoo! All right. No, I'm just kidding. Ron Braun, steroids must be kicking. I mean, his knees must be kicking up again. He's day-to-day with right knee soreness, which apparently he's had problems with for like the last 2 years. So I don't know what that's a result of, but I'm just kidding. That's not funny. Anyway, Ron Braun day-to-day, right knee soreness. Gio Gonzalez, left arm fatigue is what it just says here. He's on the 10-day. He's expected to be in Class A on July 6th, which is today, so he should have had his first pitching performance today. Nothing new on Corey Knebel. That's pretty much it, really. Nothing new on Brent Suter. Jimmy Nelson, nothing really interesting there, I guess. 10-day injury list. Fluid near his right elbow. I believe we mentioned that last week. So.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case.
Well, another blow to my fantasy team. Not really, because I picked up some really quality guys to replace him.
Yeah, thanks.
Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals was placed in the IL with lower back strain. That was retroactive to June 29. They'll reevaluate at some point after the All-Star break here. And Marcell Ozuna, fractured right fingers. What the heck happened there, I wonder? He visited a hand specialist this week, apparently. But I don't know how he fractured his right fingers. Probably a hit by pitch, when he's holding the bat knob or whatever the heck.
Hopefully he doesn't get a massage and get cramped.
Yeah, right. So we'll see what happens with him too. I guess to be determined, it says.
My Cubbies, yeah. It's been an interesting week, I guess. Nothing. We don't talk about the Cubs. No, I'm just kidding.
String being slinger, something's going on. What's
happening? Carl Edwards Jr., because, he loves the injury list. Left, he's got a strain on something.
Thorax?
Thoracic? I don't know. Anyway. I guess it's not a big deal. He could be back later this month. So, just been throwing bullpen sessions. So, not a big deal. At this point, it can't get any worse than what the bullpen is. So, the biggest blow I think that's happened, Cole Hamels, 10-day injury list, left oblique strain. Nothing that major because of the timing of it. So, he should be back after the All-Star break.
And the MRI revealed no significant injury. That was good news for him.
Yeah, because the Cubs have already been on the fence about getting another starter. Last thing we need is
controversy.
Another horrible decision. And Alan Webster, a reliever that the Cubs have been called up recently, been pretty decent out of the bullpen. Not great, but not terrible. He's done. Well, it says possibly July, but I don't know how you put him on the 60-day and then say he could be back this month, because that's not right, because they just put him on the 60-day 3 days ago. He's got a radial nerve inflammation in his right arm. That just sounds painful. I'm not a doctor. I'm not Dr. Love. I wish I was. Yeah, he's got a trumpet in his arm. No. So let's see. He was transferred to the 60-day on June 7th. Excuse me, June 7th when he got put on there. I was thinking July for some reason. And then he was on rookie level rehab earlier in the week. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, for the Cubs bullpen, it can't get any worse. So
anything will help, right?
Exactly.
Just one note for the Diamondbacks. David Peralta was placed in the 10-day IL this week for his right shoulder. Could be back on the 14th.
The 14th?
Middle of the month.
All right. Let's see here. Biggest thing for the Dodgers, really, that I'm seeing. Well, we got two little. I guess we can mention David Freese.
Sure.
10-day injury list. Be back after the All-Star break. Excuse me, not the game, the break. Left hamstring strain. That's all. We'll just talk about that.
I hurt my hammy.
Rich Hill. Why do you bother? No. Great pitcher still. He just can't stay healthy. 60-day injury list. Might be back in September when it matters. So, left forearm strain.
PRP injections.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not an illegal drug. Anyway, and then the guy that had been waiting to come back could be back soon, AJ Pollock. 10-day injury list. Recovering from his right elbow surgery he had in May. So, excuse me. So he could be back. Let's see. He started his rehab assignment on the 4th of July. So
I got the 12th that he might be back.
That's what I've been seeing as well. So hopefully he will be back after the All-Star break. I wonder who they're going to send down for that.
Yeah,
but
those hot rookie guys really can't.
I can't keep up with the Dodgers. I can't do it. Last but not least, Corey Seager on the 10-day injury list, left hamstring strain. He is.
He got a rehab, I think, is what I have.
Yes, rehab assignment. He had it yesterday, so he'll be back after the All-Star break. I don't know how the results went for that. So
I don't know who Travis Bergen is, but I'll mention him for the Giants. He's got left shoulder strain and will be reevaluated after All-Star break.
Travis Bergen. For the Indians, we did talk about Carrasco already, where he's got that blood condition and leukemia. That poor guy. I really do. That poor guy. So who knows when he'll be back. I don't think it'll be back when MLB says he'll be back. So
I don't either, to be honest with you guys. Something like that, even though things are going well, I think they would have to, be in serious playoff condition for him to want to come back.
Right.
To be honest,
Danny Salazar, he is on the 60-day. He's in the process of being on the 60-day. He wasn't just placed on it. He could be back later this month. He's recovering from his right shoulder surgery he had in July last year. It says here that he began his rehab assignment on June 30th. I did see one of his games that he threw, his stat line for it, and he looked really good.
I love
really, really good.
In 2018, well, 2017 mostly, but up until he got hurt in 2018.
They said that his fastball's being clocked at 96 to 97. I believe they said he struck out. He only pitched 3 innings, I believe, but he struck out 6 hitters in 3 innings. So that's some good signs.
Yeah, so I like that. All right, you got your Mitch Haniger nut update. His ruptured testicle.
That's not funny. I laugh at it every week, but it's not funny.
Slowing down his recovery push after he was put on the 10-day IL last month, but they are still confident that he could be back after the All-Star break. So cross your fingers and, those parts down south.
Well, got a nut up or shut up.
Right.
Once again,
a bullpen session coming up for closer Hunter Strickland with his right lat strain. So they're still hoping this month for him. We'll see.
Boy, the Marlins. Let's talk about the Marlins. I've got two reports on the Marlins that I think personally are interesting. Caleb Smith. You gotta. The reason I bring him up is because he could be a trade chip for the Marlins. You never know. 10-day injury list. He's got left hip inflammation. Excuse me. Wish I could talk. But allegedly it says he's back. It says he rejoined the team on July 12th.
He's on the roster apparently.
So maybe he's back. I don't know. Last but not least, Jose Urena, the quote-unquote ace of the team. 60-day injury list. Herniated disc in his back. That is some serious stuff. Could be back in August, though. So that's not really a long absence for something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But he's been transferred to the 60-day as of June 14th. So he could be back in August if everything goes well.
Wanted to mention J.D. Davis from the Mets, pitcher / infielder. It's kind of how he was heralded, but I think he's mostly just been hitting, the third base corner. He wasn't in the lineup because of some sort of illness on the 3rd, 5th, and the 6th. So we'll see what happens after the All-Star break. I'm sure he'll probably rest up through the weekend. Jed Lowry, update on him. He's still not close to getting a rehab assignment, so they're going to have to reevaluate again after the All-Star break and see at what point he could possibly come back, or if he's even needed to come back with this dumpster fire that's the Mets.
Heading over to the Nationals. Speaking of dumpster fires, I'm just kidding. Nationals.
In the opposite direction, I'm thinking.
Exactly. I know Count tried to rub it in our face the other day. But when you're right, you're right. What can you do? So the Nationals, Washington Nationals, Kyle Bearclaw, 10-day injury list, right radial nerve irritation, could be back this month. He was sent on his rookie rehab assignment on the 4th of July, so he could be rejoining the team, I guess, really next week, I guess. Last but not least, I'm going to mention Anthony Rendon, who we talked about. It's not in the All-Star game. He's day-to-day with a left hamstring / left quad tightness. He's day-to-day, like I said, could be back after the All-Star break. Pretty important because they have, they're starting extension talks. So
Right.
could this injury cost him some money?
For so long, but I think it's really going to be coming to a head now.
But yeah, we'll have to see what happens. That's going to be a big deal because if the Nats don't work out something for him, somebody's going to get him.
Hey, DJ Stewart for the Orioles is on a double-A rehab assignment with his right ankle sprain, and he's likely to be back after the All-Star break. So the Orioles on a little bit better pace lately, Amos. I think they're 7 games ahead of where they were last year record-wise, if you check that out.
Well, good for them. I mean, they've, I want to see the Orioles do good. I really do. I'm tired of them not being good. I just want to see them do well. I know they're not going to win a title anytime soon or even make the playoffs, but you have to I think the future's kind of bright in Baltimore. Maybe not as bright in other places, but you got to start somewhere. Am I right?
That's right. Keep working, babes.
So let's head down to San Diego. The only one I may bring up will be a big blow. I think personally it's a big blow to the Padres, and I'm talking about
such a good hitter,
Right, Franchi Cordero, who's got a right elbow strain, and it says his quad's also messing up on him. He could be back around the August-September range. An MRI has revealed stress reaction in his elbow for an update he had in April. Suffered his quad injury during rehab assignment. So he was in rehab for an injury and sustained another injury.
Right.
So basically he's done. I'm going to go ahead and say he's done until if the Padres make the playoffs. So
probably, I would guess. My guess. The Philadelphia Filthies.
Filthies. The Philadelphia Yankees.
Have reliever Sir Anthony Dominguez on the IL. He's got that UCL damage in his right elbow. He's expected to be reevaluated was probably already this week. So why did you give us an update? It was to be determined last check, but we'll see if we get an update after All-Star break. And Juan Nicasio, 10-day IL July 4th, and he's got a left great strain. We'll reevaluate later along with David Robertson, flexor strain in right arm, maybe July.
Pirates. Let's see. Francisco Cervelli on the 10-day injury list with concussion symptoms. Very serious thing. I'm not going to make a joke about that, but I believe that's the second time that he's been put on concussion protocol for this thing. So we'll see what happens with him. Let's see here. Gregory Polanco still on the 10-day injury list. He's got left posterior shoulder inflammation. I don't even know what that is.
Really back of his shoulder.
I mean, when I think
you can't reach that spot.
When I think posterior, I just think butt.
Well, of course.
You know, his butt of his shoulder. Anyway, 10-day could be back later this month. And Jamison Taillon, 60-day injury list, flexor tendon strain in his right arm, which is his throwing arm. Transferred to the 60-day as of May 13th. He's expected to resume playing catch per a July 3rd update. So.
Slow road to hoe, yeah, for him, looks like. The Rangers, they're kind of still in the hunt here, Amos.
Yeah, they are.
But catcher Isaiah Kiner-Falefa,
I can never say.
because, he's a Greek guy, I think. I don't know.
I'm glad you got him.
He's on a AAA rehab assignment with his right middle finger sprain. He wasn't just throwing it up at the Border Patrol fiasco down there in Texas.
Ooh.
He was.
Ooh, shots fired. Nope. Not falling for it. Nice bait. Dingling it right there. I'm not trumping it.
And of course, we mentioned Hunter Pence. We're sad he's not going to be an All-Star.
Yes.
He's got that right great strain. He had an MRI and is just ruled out for the All-Star game. But we're hoping the Rangers are going to get him back.
I could use him, man. They have not been doing well the last couple days against your Twins.
Yeah.
They got Minor going tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to start him or not. I've lost 3 games this week, so don't matter to me. All right, so the Tampa Bay Rays, the team that's just kind of in purgatory, really.
Yeah.
That's the best way to explain them, in my opinion. G-Man Troy, a player that you think highly of, as you should. 10-day injury list, left ankle sprain. So it's really all it said, to be determined on his date back. So could be 2 weeks, could be a month. I don't know. I guess it depends on what they see.
How about that guy that's not going to the All-Star?
Yes, Brandon Lowe, 10-day injury list. He's got right shin bone bruise. I think he fouled a ball off his leg during the bat. I think that's why he did how that happened. So he was put on the 10-day on July 4th, so he could be back, I'm guessing, after the All-Star break.
Hey, those Boston Red Sox are hoping to get their brand new closer. There's been talk. Nathan Eovaldi gets off the injured list. He could be the new Boston Red Sox closer.
What a kick in the Mitch Haniger.
Yeah, he threw off a mound on the first and is expected to throw off a mound again today, or previous to the matchup they had. So we'll see how that goes.
Alrighty. Cincinnati Reds, I believe is where we're at. Amir Garrett. Thanks. 10-day injury list, possibly July 13th, return of a left lat strain, and he has been fantastic out of that bullpen for the Reds. Yes. Scooter Gennett, day-to-day with the left groin tightness. This guy has just been hurt for the whole year, and he comes back, and now he got groin tightness. Anyway. And Alex Wood on the 10-day injury list with a lower back spasm. So, and he is expected to begin his rehab assignment today. So he probably already had it.
Rockies bullpen piece they picked up in the offseason, Sang-Won Oh from the Blue Jays. He's on the IL, and they just kind of kept putting him on the IL, these 10-day ILs. He did throw 20 pitches to live hitters last weekend, and was expected to do so again this week as he tries to get back from his left abdominal strain. And Brendan Rodgers, that hot rookie middle infielder that they got, he's got a right shoulder impingement. He did work out with the team this week, but he'll be on the IL for the foreseeable future here.
Nothing going on with the Royals or Tigers. You can stop me if you want to talk about the Tigers. I don't think there's anybody on the Tigers, really. But I'm not going to do your Twins. That's you.
All right,
you are the Twins guy.
What are the White Sox doing?
The White Sox. Let's see what the White Sox have to report here. The only one that I see is Dylan Covey. 10-day injury list. Right shoulder inflammation. Could be back later on this month. He's been in AAA, and he's expected to be reevaluated after the All-Star break. So,
well, with my Twins, La Tortuga, Williams Astudillo, he was called up when a couple of guys were hurt, like Marwin Gonzalez and Ihara Indiranza were hurt, and he came in. Well, then he got a left oblique strain, so he was shut down from baseball activities. And they're just going to kind of hold off and reevaluate next week. C.J. Cron was a big one this week. They had to recall their minor league first baseman just for this Rangers series. But they're hoping he can be able to be back after the All-Star break. He's got a right thumb inflammation, so you just got to get that, inflamed thumb treated and get that out of there. Shake it out of there. He'll be back for you, buddy. Jake Odorizzi developed a blister on his right middle finger of his pitching hand. I watched the Oakland game this week, Twins Oakland game, and watched that happen to him. He'll be on the IL, but should be back. It might not be this coming week's start, but the following week's start is what I heard. And then Eddie Rosario, left ankle sprain, did some light running, but he's pretty well on good progress to be back after the All-Star break as well. And the aforementioned guy that they called up for Crone, Lamont Wade, he had to exit the game. I don't know why today. I didn't catch the game report. But he dislocated his right thumb. So I'm not sure what kind of moves they'll make for tomorrow. They just have the one game before they're probably going to get Crone back anyway. So they'll probably leave like Marwin Gonzalez or Mitch Garver playing first base is going to be my guess.
Let's see here. God, I got stuck with the Yankees again. They're still dead. They're still dead. No. The only one that really seems like it's been updated has been Luke Voigt on the 10-day injury list with a left abdominal strain. That could have been someone in the home run derby.
Okay. Yeah.
That's who I was thinking of earlier that I couldn't think of. But he's kind of cooled down over the last month, it seems like. But he's been placed on the 10-day injury list, retroactive June 30th, so he should be back relatively soon, even though it says to be determined. Wow, I didn't realize this one happened. Troy Tulowitzki, well, yeah, never mind. 60-day injury list, left calf strain. That's all you need to know. And Giancarlo Stanton, 10-day injury list, could be back in August. PCL strain in his right knee. I don't know what's wrong with New York, but there's something that's hurting you players.
Somebody's sneaking around with an object and going, "You're hurt, you're hurt, you're hurt."
I just don't. Everyone's hurt. Everyone's dying. I don't get it. So let's go over. We're fixing to wrap the show up here. Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we go over just the standings?
I would like to hear more of your commentary about what the heck is going on with your team. But I was going to talk about
everything.
Some of the things that have been happening with this Minnesota Twins team. I wanted to know one stat. I want to look that up real quick while I read off some things that have been happening this week. They had outrighted Ronald Torres, who was an infielder that had been called up in this whole Marwin Gonzalez, Ihara Adrianza fiasco, and sent him back, and they got an extra pitching arm, Edalberto Mejia. Well, he didn't appear until this past Wednesday's game, which was the third, against the A's. Of course, I watched that game. But it's been good to see his arm back. He's a kind of a valuable, almost I would say a long relief lefty that the Twins have, that they've been sitting on for about a year and a half, and just kind of watching him progress. So I'm hoping for big things. We mentioned Odorizzi to the 10-day IL. Developed the blister in his right middle finger during his start on Wednesday. So they recalled Zach Littell to take his place on the roster. Now, they had, I don't know if I mentioned last week, a 17-inning marathon game that Friday, that I believe was the 28th, against the Rays. And Kyle Gibson pitched the 17th inning, and that kind of threw things off a little bit for his starts. He first of all got his next start moved. I can't remember if it was either Tuesday's game or Thursday's game. And now what they're going to do for tomorrow is have him as an opener for just 2 innings. So Kyle Gibson to be an opener for like a 2-inning planned stint. And they, I forgot, is it shoot. Now I can't remember the guy's name.
That one guy.
But anyway, that guy that they called up here about a month and a half ago. I didn't write it down. I must take good notes. But he's going to pitch then from the 3rd inning on, as far as he can go, depending on what happens and all that. But Blake Parker, congratulations to him. He's a brand new daddy. I didn't catch if that was a boy or a girl, but he was on the paternity list this weekend, so he gets to celebrate All-Star break additional couple of days. And that did kind of put their bullpen into a little bit of a quandary, because Taylor Rogers had already pitched, I think it was Thursday, and so they were kind of scrounging around to see, if they had a situation against Texas where they needed a closer, situation, but that never really came, and hopefully it won't again on Sunday, so they'll be able to kind of give their bullpen guys some more rest. And as we mentioned, C.J. Cron and Lamont Wade doing the old switcheroo, and now Wade gets hurt, so we'll see what happens with that. Oh yeah, my note I wanted to say. Do you know the Twins? They started 40-18, Amos. They've gone 14-14 since that start, and I think that was as of yesterday. So now they're 15-14. The runs scored per game during the 40-18 stretch, 6.0 versus 5.0 on the 14-14 stretch. So that was a 17% decrease in runs scored per game. And runs allowed per game went from 4.1 to 5.0, which was a 22% increase. So obviously, when you score 6.0 and allow 4.1, you'll go 40-18. And when you score 5.0 and allow 5.0, you go 500. So I just wanted to point out, courtesy of Twins crazy stat geek, I love the guy, Aaron Gleeman.
I don't know what, man. I mean, well, your Twins had to cool down eventually, but regardless, they're still probably one of the best teams in baseball.
Still one of the best 5, most definitely got to be.
I mean, they broke the home run record going up for the first half.
That 163 home runs beats the Yankees record of last year.
And I think everyone expected the Twins to be good, but not this good.
Right. I had no idea.
So,
this was going to happen.
But Nelson Cruz.
No,
I think everyone has helped pitched in, but regardless, whoops, excuse me, that was the wrong button there. We're not ending quite yet, but I wish I had as much optimism for my team.
I know. What is going on?
Well, there is a little bit, but let's start with the bad. The Cubs, pretty much this whole week, the Cubs have been playing the Pirates. They were off they weren't off last Sunday, but we talked about, not really going to talk about the Sunday game. There just wasn't really anything that good. So they had a 4-game series against the Pirates through the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They lost the first 3 games. Not only did they lose the first 3 games, they found a way to lose all 3 games in separate ways. So, Monday was the blowout. They lost 18-5. I believe that's when Albert Alzol Alzolme, or I can never say his name right. I have to see his name to say it correctly. But that's when he got the start, and that was a big night for Josh Bell, who had 3 home runs off of him, and I believe he had 7 RBIs that night. So Cubs lose 18-5. The next game they lose 5-1. I didn't really watch that game, so I must admit I don't have a lot of details on that game. That might have been when Lester started, and he just couldn't get it going. Wednesday, they lost a heartbreaker. They lost 6-5. Kimbrel blows his first save. Not a big deal. You have to expect it to happen. But it was the questionable way that they lost the game. Russell making an ill-advised, shocker, an ill-advised play, throwing to home instead of just throwing to first to get an out. I don't know the exact details of it, but he should have just thrown to Contreras, which was offline, causing the run to score. If it would have been on, Contreras would have got the runner. Game would have still been tied. It was not tied. Anyway, so I would blame more of defensive inefficiency, I guess, more than Kimbrel. However, on Thursday, the Cubs came out big and won 11-3 with thanks to a prospect they called up named Robel Garcia.
Now, yeah, I've heard a lot of stuff about this guy. I've been reading stuff. Who is this guy?
Well, he played for 5 years in Italy. He's only 26. I believe it says, he's 26 years old. So he played in Italy for 5 years. Cubs signed him in the offseason, I believe. To the organization. He's been in single A, double A, and triple A, which he's hit 21 homers in 72 minor league games this year across double A and triple A. I don't have his stats for single, if he was even there. But he came up, and boy, he had a great. I'm going to call it a debut because he did pitch hit in the 6-5 loss and he struck out. But I wouldn't consider that a proper debut. I think a debut is when you play a game more than one at bat, so to speak.
Yeah.
And boy, he had a good one. He had a home run, his first career home run. He had a triple and a single. He was a double shy of the cycle. So this kid, granted, I haven't seen how he's doing tonight because he is playing tonight against the White Sox as the DH. So I don't know how he's doing tonight. He's facing Lucas Giolito. And what surprises me is that they're actually winning. Bad for my fantasy, but if they do hold this off, I believe they're going to be the only team that's beat Giolito twice this year. So we'll see how that goes. Coming up, obviously you got the All-Star break, and then a pretty tough stretch at home. Even though it's going to be at Wrigley, it's going to be rough. You got the Pirates come to town for 3 games. Then you have the Reds, who the Cubs just can't seem to beat.
Yeah, it's kind of a flip-flop situation in the Central overall now that the Reds and Pirates are coming on. The Cardinals, Cubs, and Brewers are virtually doing nothing.
Yeah, they just nobody wants to win the division, I guess. And then lastly, 3 with the Padres. So that's a pretty tough one. But it doesn't get any easier after that. The team has struggled. There was something that was put on Twitter about how Theo Epstein is very pissed off about how the team is playing. I don't blame him. I don't blame Madden for being mad and getting ejected a couple games ago, even though I think it was completely unnecessary. I don't know if you saw that one or not, but
I didn't. But I've heard a lot that he's really starting to get under pressure again.
Yeah, and who knows? Who knows? He's making some very questionable decisions, in my opinion, as a Cubs fan. I talked about it on my individual broadcast, my Twitch channel, a couple nights ago. There's decisions that he's making that just doesn't make sense. He's given Russell way more playing time than Bodie. Russell's hit under 200 since he's been back from his suspension. He's committed way more errors since he's been back than he had in 2016. Which, that's the last time he was really good. Bodie's been really... I just don't get it. And then, of course, the pitching has been a struggle. I can't really blame Madden for that. But the lineups, people complain all the time. He needs to leave the lineup alone. And I partially agree with that. But I think he's relying too much on numbers and not just giving these guys a chance to overcome their deficiencies. Like, he sits Hayward a lot against lefties. And when you look at the numbers, he should. But I think you should give Hayward some chances there. Because if he goes 0 for 4 against righties and he goes 0 for 3 against lefties, that's not really a big deal. You're just missing that great defense. I don't know. That's why I sit here. I don't manage the Cubs. But I think, the conspiracy theorist in me is thinking that he's doing some of this on purpose because they haven't talked about a contract extension for him yet.
Okay. Kind of the Art Howe of 2002 syndrome.
Yeah, like, Madden's, this is the last year of his contract. Is Theo Epstein, every time Theo Epstein gets asked about it, he's like, we're not there yet. That doesn't look good for whatever they're going to do. But, the Cubs they're still a good team, but they've just been playing sloppy still. That's the best way to describe it. They can't score. I think the Pirates outscored them the first 3 games 36-11, 29-11, something like that. And if they can't score against the Pirates, which they are a good team, then how do you expect to win against the Brewers, against the Dodgers, against the Braves, the Phillies? You're just not going to. So I'm hoping this All-Star break is something that the Cubs will need for sure. And then we'll just have to see what happens after that. But I'm slightly more optimistic, believe it or not. But I'm cautious. I'm very cautious. Something doesn't feel right in that clubhouse, and I don't know what it is. So.
Well, hey, I wanted to mention some of the Twitter topics I've saved on the Hot Takes Corner. Go to the Hot Takes Corner Twitter page, by the way. You can see all sorts of retweets and fun things. Tim Kirkjian put up this one. Did you see the Dodgers Diamondbacks game 3 days ago, where the Dodgers became the first team in the live ball era from 1920 to present to walk 5 consecutive times to end a game with no outs in between that streak?
That's ridiculous.
5 consecutive walks to end a game.
There was even 2 outs, right? When all that happened.
Yeah. How the Diamondbacks not get that done?
I don't know. Okay, now let's be honest here. Is that really bad luck against the Diamondbacks, or just the luck of everything is with the Dodgers this year? But that could also show what good of a team they are.
What might not be so lucky is Michael K. Yankees, network broadcaster Michael K., who came on this week and tweeted that he wanted to tell everyone that he went to see a specialist in Boston and he recommended that he have surgery to correct an issue with his vocal cord. You can put it on the board. No, that's Hawk Harrelson. Who am I saying for Michael K? I am saying, see ya.
Well, hopefully we don't say see ya.
We don't want to say see ya because Anesthesiologist do a good job for Michael K because we want to hear him back. Surgery to correct his issue with his vocal cord. So it'll be through this week. He's going to be hospitalized and out for about a month after that for recovery.
Who's filling in for him? Do you know?
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about that.
Fancy Yankees will find somebody. Darren Willman, well-known stat guru, I kind of call him, the director of research and development for MLB, basically, put up this interesting rankings thing on Cody Bellinger.
Spoilers, it's fantastic.
It's like, okay, 2019 MLB rankings. Exit velocity, tops. Hard hit percentage, tops. Outs above average, tops. Outfielder jump, tops. Sprint speed, I don't know. That one looks like maybe second.
That's 99%. Come on.
Gotta be 99, yeah. A whole bunch of other stuff is just like, holy crap. This guy's having a heck of a year.
We get it. He's on pace to have one of the best years in baseball ever. We get it. We get it. Cody Bellinger's great. He's not Mike Trout, but he's great. Well deserved, though. Good for him.
And then, of course, finally, the one we already talked about, Yelich and all the other things. I just wanted to mention.
I like.
Save them this week.
I like the other one that you sent.
The
one about the expansion team names.
Oh yeah, the team names. So Chin Music was one of our first followers on our Twitter account. So I thought it best, to put this up because it was very interesting. And by the way, go follow them at thepastimegrapevine.com. So what did you think? Some of these.
To be honest, I mean, I like the names, but they sound a lot more like AAA names, like the minor league system names. I think my favorite one, besides the Montreal Expos, I mean, besides that one, you want a name that kind of doesn't sound cheesy, but you don't want it to be, like, too serious. Mm-hmm. I think the one that I like out of all of these are probably, let me tell you the one I don't like. The Columbus Clippers. I don't like that. That reminds me of the basketball team. Yeah. I like the Portland Pioneers. Okay. I like that one. I think that's a pretty good one. That sounds more like of a Major League Baseball team name to me.
Yeah. Every nice Pioneer wagon logo,
Team's dying of dysentery and. Shout out to that. But, I mean, these are some interesting names, and they definitely all have meaning. I just, Indianapolis Pit Vipers is okay, too. That was an okay one. But I think we've already covered the snake. The Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks, we got that. That's for sure.
But, I mean, other than that, these are some very interesting names. You got cities like, Portland, Montreal, Las Vegas, names that we've mentioned in the past and other people have mentioned in the past. I didn't really see one that surprised me, except for Norfolk. Okay. Norfolk, Virginia. The Admirals. I don't know what to say to that one. I really don't.
Attributed to the big naval base, type atmosphere that they got around there.
Just, I don't know if we need another team in the East. It seems like we need one in the West more than anything.
West. Yeah, I would say so too. Or Canada, Montreal.
I think Kalispell, Montana should come up with.
Kalispell, Montana, really?
Yeah. Why not, right?
How the heck are they going to support a ball team? Although, we had all that talk about Nebraska after the whole Royals game in Omaha.
But yeah, that's a very good one. I like that one. We could see some expansions. We don't know when. So.
Cross our fingers, see how the Tampa situation plays out, and other stuff. Maybe the Mets will fold.
They'll move out of New York, and Yankees fans won't shut up then either.
Oh boy, really that.
Yeah, we're the best around. Yankees, Houston Astros. No.
Something to put in your brain for next week. I did have a question sent in from our friend Oblivion, our Canadian friend.
Oh, Canada. Happy late Canada Day, by the way.
Right. 4th of July, America. Canada Day, Canada. He says in the major leagues, he wonders why they wet down the dirt before a game. Just wants to know why they wet down the dirt before a game.
I'm going to guess for grip reasons. They wear spikes.
For the feet?
Yeah, and, maybe it makes it softer for sliding. I don't have a scientific reason for that. I'm just making assumptions. So.
Good theory. I like it. The dust, obviously would kind of be a big thing for me if they wet it down, right?
Yeah, if the wind's blowing, you don't want dust being kicked up, and if the ground's a little wet before game, it may help.
In your eyes and whenever you're making plays.
It'll help. I don't know. That's a good one. That's something that you think you should know the answer to. That could be a multitude of reasons, I guess. That's the ones I'm going with. I'm sure there's something way more complicated, but
we need to get the god of sod or whoever the equivalent is in baseball to tell us the penultimate field groomer.
Right. What do you think? Shall we wrap?
I think so. I'm getting kind of hot in this room too. So.
Yeah, man. It's been a good week. Minus the Skaggs thing, but appreciate you guys tuning in tonight on Twitch. Video will be up on YouTube. If not tonight, it will be up in the morning. Of course, our other, Anchor and audio will be uploaded Monday or Tuesday.
We'll get that produced. It'll be a much shorter version. I will warn you ahead of time.
Right, you get the unedited stuff live. So
Yeah.
and probably on YouTube. So but if you want a more condensed and more relevant, you want to listen to it on the audio platforms. So we understand not everyone has roughly 2 hours. But anyway, so Amish, my good sir, thank you for being with me again this week. There's the little one. We are off for the week. Everyone have a great week.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week.
Have a fun All-Star game.
Yeah. Good luck to your team representatives. We're out.